UFC Imavov versus Borralho goes down this weekend. It's going to be a banger card. There's some good fights. There's some kind of questionable fights on the lineup where I'm kind of like, why is this here? But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a good card. Let's break it down from the top to the bottom. Let's go. All right, to start off the card, we got Shauna Bannon versus Sam Hughes. A good little Ireland versus USA matchup here. One's 7-1, one's 10-6. They're both 2-3. No, 2-1 in their last three. Sorry. And I think I'm going to go Shauna Bannon. I think she's a little bit more athletic. I think she's a little bit more poppy on the feet, a little bit better everywhere. Sam Hughes is good too. Don't get me wrong. She's all right, but I don't think she's going to be as good as Shanna Bannon. I think, the way Sam Hughes wins this fight is putting Shanna on the back, on her back foot, putting her up against the cage, taking her down, beating her up on the ground as much as possible, right? Shanna doesn't have as much pop in her punches in terms of like knockout power. But Sam Hughes definitely has more finishes on her record. Shauna only has 2 knockouts and 1 submission, I think, or something like that. Or maybe 1 knockout, 1 submission, something like that. And I don't think she has like insane finish ability, but also Sam Hughes isn't, the top of the food chain in the women's strawweight division. But I think it's going to be a pretty fun fight, back and forth. I don't think there's going to be a lot of damage dealt in the fight. I think it's going to be just one of those, 3-round fights where one of the girls is going to win, probably 29-28. I think it's going to go Shauna Bannon. But I think if Sam Hughes can go in there, use her wrestling, take her down, put Shauna on her back, that's her best bet. And if she does that, she's going to win. But yeah, that's my pick for the first fight. Next up, we got Andreas Gustafsson versus Renat Vakhtardinov. And both of these guys are really good. I really like Renat. I think this is a really, really big step up for Andreas Gustafsson. I think he's taken on a guy who's been in the UFC for a while. I don't know why or how this fight is the second fight on the early prelims. I think this fight should either be the prelim main, or it should be on the main card, for sure, because, we got Fektorov. He's coming in off 3 wins. Well, he's coming in, it was a draw, but he's on a big win streak. He beat Brian Battle, and Brian Battle's pretty damn good. He beat him back in the day. He's undefeated in the UFC. He knocked out or submitted Kevin Lee. We all have seen that one. He had a split decision with Dalby, which is kind of like, you're sitting on the fence with that, okay, but he did beat Leal in a unanimous decision. Leal's pretty good. Gustafsson, though, his style is to beat him, you have to hurt him. He's going to walk forward. He's going to throw a lot of punches. He's going to put you on the, he's not going to let you breathe. He's going to put you against a cage. He's going to take you down. He's going to keep throwing punches the entire fight, every single round from 1 minute to the 5th minute. The way you beat him is not let him, you got to control the center of the octagon. You got to create angles, and you got to pop and get out. And because he's going to try to punch every single space, every single position you're in. He's going to try to hurt you. He's going to try to use everything. So it's going to be a big test for Renat to see what he could do with someone that has a style like that, that's going to put the fight to him, put him on his back, put him against the cage, right? So Renat really has to go in there. I keep saying Renat because it's Brazilian, but it's probably Reinit or something like that. He needs to go in there and control the octagon, right? Needs to control the fight. Don't let Gustafsson dictate the pace. Gustafsson could win this fight if he fights the way he does. You know what I mean? If his game plan goes... I know it's kind of sounds dumb saying that, but if the game plan that he brings goes and does well, he's obviously going to win, because he has such a pressured style that he really only has one way to win, and that's fight the way he fights, right? If he fights any other way, I don't really see him fighting any other way. And if he does, it's being forced by the opponent by, making him fight that way. And I think that's what Renat is going to do. I think he's going to go in there, make Andreas fight his fight. It's whoever makes each other's, Andreas has to make Renat fight his fight, and Renat has to make Andreas fight his fight. That's just the only way it goes. Unless it just ends up being a fucking dogfight by both guys having success. And then we're just going to see a really good dogfight. And it's going to be a really close fight. But I got Renat. I think he's just a little bit better. I think he's been in UFC for a lot longer, and he's undefeated in the UFC, and it's hard to bet against him. Next up, we got Brad Tavares and Robert Brzezicek. So this is kind of like, one of those fights. Both guys are kind of decent, It shows like this might be Brzezicek's second fight, and he lost against Patera. So he's fighting a really, really veteran, seasoned UFC fighter in Brad Tavares, who I think is, coming off of a win, against Meerschaert. And Meerschaert is kind of on the way out, so it's not super impressive. But this dude fights dogs. He's fought Park. He's fought Rodriguez. He's fought Weidman. He's fought Silva in his last fight, and then he's fought Duplessis. His last 5 fights are Duplessis, Silva, where he got knocked out in 1 minute. He beat Weidman, loses to TKO to Rodriguez, loses a split decision against Park in a really good fight, and then kind of beats the shit out of Meerschaert for 3 rounds. I'm just gonna have to go with Brad Tavares in terms of that experience that he has, and I think Robert coming in off of a loss against a guy who's been in the game for fucking almost 20 years now, looking at like 15 years, Brad Tavares has been in the UFC, something crazy like that. I think he's going to win. I think Brad Tavares is going to go in there, show his experience, show that he's still got it, and he's not going to lose to some guy like Robert Brzezicek, who's coming in off of a loss in his debut. I think Brad Tavares is going to get the job done. I think he has a little bit more tools. Yeah, I think he's going to win due mainly to experience being in there more. Next up, we got Sam Patterson and Trey Waters. This is going to be a pretty good fight. Trey Waters, he's got deceivingly good striking, but he keeps his hands down too much and gets hit too much. Sam Patterson should be able to put the punches to his face, land more strikes than Trey Waters. Trey Waters has a good slip right hand, but I think Sam Patterson's better everywhere. I think he has better ground game. I think he has better striking. Sam Patterson, the thing with him is that he doesn't move his head as much, but, neither does Trey Waters. Trey kind of, puts his hands down and tries to, be a little too flashy, and I don't like that for Trey, but Sam Patterson, he doesn't move his head. He's kind of one of those English guys, where's he from? Yeah, England. He's kind of like one of those English guys like the McGregor. McGregor's so good on the feet, but he rarely ever slips and bangs, and, he gets hit a lot because he's standing straight up sometimes. Early McGregor. Sam Patterson kind of reminds me of that, where he's a little too stiff, a little too tall, where he just throws punches, eats punches to give a shot. But I do think he's going to win. I think he's got enough power to finish Trey, and I think Sam Patterson's probably going to win by knockout or submission. So I'm going Sam Patterson. Next up, we got Rhys McKee and Axel Sola. Now, Axel Sola's coming in, making his UFC debut. He's a French guy against Rhys McKee. Rhys has fought in some really tough guys in the UFC so far. He fought Khamzat, got, pretty much Khamzated by, the man right now. TKO'd him in round 1. Then he fought Morono in a 3-round decision where he kind of just got outclassed. He came into the UFC 0-3. And it's surprising. 0-4, dog. I don't know how this guy still has... I don't know how this guy still has a job. He's losing by decision every single time. And he's 1-4 in his last 5, but he did knock out Frunze in the first round. Well, doctor stoppage after dropping him 4 times in the first round. He looked like he's finally getting, some headway underneath him. Axel Souza is kind of just a dog everywhere. If Axel goes in there and uses his wrestling, takes Rhys down, I think he's going to beat him. And Axel, that's his best bet because he's got kind of wonky, weird striking. If the fight stays on the feet, I do think Rhys is going to have the advantage there, but Axel has, I think, better wrestling, better grappling. That's what his main source of income is in terms of success for being in the fights. Yeah, so I think we could put some money on the new guy, Axel, beating Rhys by submission or decision, but don't be surprised if Rhys has success on the feet early and later in the fight if Axel starts to gas from grappling, and Rhys could defend the grappling. But I think if I have to make a pick, I'm going to go Axel. Because after seeing Rhys's 1-5, 1-4 record in the UFC, and he's still in the UFC, but we're cutting guys that are 7-1, the heavyweights, and Muhammad Makayev is just... that kind of grinds my gears a bit seeing that. Next up, we got Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. This is a rematch, actually. Ante is making his UFC debut. He was a PFL champion. And Marcin Tybura, he is number 7 in the heavyweight division. He's got decent striking, pretty good everywhere. Same with Ante Delija. He's pretty good everywhere. He's got a really good double leg, really good top control. He's been more reliant on his wrestling in the PFL than he has his hands, but he's got really fast hands, really poppy. He doesn't have like one punch knockout power like most heavyweights where they just put you to sleep, but he does have really strong, fast combos, and I like that for Ante. And this is a rematch. Ante Delija and Marcin Tybura fought, I don't know, many years ago, and Ante Delija threw a low kick, snapped his shin in the first round. TKO, right? Broke his leg, so we didn't really see who was better. It did seem like they were pretty evenly matched at the time because they were both young in their career, but now I think I'm honestly going to go Ante Delija. I know might be a hot take here, but I think I'm going to go Ante Delija beating and upsetting Marcin Tybura in his UFC debut. I think he is legit. I think he's really good. I think UFC needs to find more heavyweights like this because the heavyweight division is just... It's been bad for a long time. Okay, since the Brock Lesnar days, UFC heavyweight division has never been deep, I should say. Like, the top 5 are always pretty exciting, but like they're just not deep, you know? And so I think they need to be finding guys like Ante Delija. But yeah, I think I'm going Ante Delija probably by decision. Maybe TKO if he could get Marcin Tybura on his back. That's the best way to beat Marcin Tybura is put him on his back or knock him out. So I'm going Ante Delija. Next up, we got Omar Sy and Brenson Ribeiro. Now, this is a weird one for me because Omar Sy, to me, did not impress me in his last fight against, what's his name? Alonzo Menefield. But he does have, good technique. Like, he's not the worst fighter I've ever seen, but like his last fight with Alonzo Menefield just didn't seem like he was ready for, like high level competition. He didn't look like he had the timing down. He didn't look like he had enough power or skill to beat these guys. Brenson Ribeiro, though, he do be getting knocked out. I think it's weird because I feel like Brenson he's like cleaner with his technique, but he gets finished a lot. Like, he's been knocked out a couple times in the UFC. Let's see, he's been knocked out by Ming Yang in his debut, which is a crazy fight to have in your debut, I will say, and that was early last year. And then he fought, 4 months later after getting knocked out, and then gets beat by decision against Gadzia Solov, who the fuck knows who that is. And then he wins a split decision against Machado. I don't even know who Machado is. He don't even look familiar to me. And then he gets a submission victory against Nurgazai. And if you watched the UFC card last week, he's okay, And then we seen Mirzakhanov knock him out in round 1. So it's kind of like, and that was in June. That was not even a month ago. It was a little bit over a month ago, and he's fighting again this weekend. And he got knocked out, so it's kind of like, dude, I don't want to bet on Brenson Ribeiro. I think I'm going Omar Sy. I think he's just a little bit better. I don't think he has the same kind of damage that Brenson Ribeiro has. So I'm going Omar Sy, that's the safe bet for me. So we're going Omar Sy, probably by knockout or decision. But yeah, it's going to be a good fight. That should, end kind of crazy. We'll see. Next up, we got William Gomez and Robert Rucala. So this is going to be a pretty decent fight. William Gomez, he does a lot of spinny shit, and he's a real technical striker. But he does a little too much spinny shit for my liking, especially against someone like Robert Rucala, who's going to go in there and try to wrestle for a majority of the time. Robert Rucala has a very good mixing it up abilities. He's got decent hands, and he's got really good striking to wrestling. He's got pretty decent grappling. It's not the greatest, but he has good timing on his shots. And if he could time those shots against William Gomez, I could see him beating Gomez the way Hamil beat Gomez. And that was just by using all of your tools. Strike, takedown, pressure, put him up against the cage. Watch out for the big spinny shit. Watch out for the technical punches, the sniping shots. Just make sure you're rolling, getting your head offline after you strike. Don't just stand there after you punch. Part of me wants to go Rucala, but it's his UFC debut, and he's fighting a guy who's, used to being in the UFC. But listen, the thing is, Robert Rucala has been training with Matthias Gamrot, and he's training at American Top Team for getting ready for this fight. So he's going to come in ready. And this fight, to me, is going to be a lot closer than people think. So I think, like, part of me wants to say Robert Ricala gets the upset victory, but then a part of me wants to be like, man, it's France. These dudes are fighting in France. He's got the hometown advantage. He's really good on the feet. I think if he hurts Robert, then the wrestling goes away. So, but we haven't seen William Gomez like be super surgical on the feet yet. He's kind of just a little wild. He's technical, but he is a little wild. So it's kind of like, dude, oh, it's so hard to pick. It's so hard to pick. Fuck it, we're going Robert Ricala in the debut for the upset. I think he's going to take him down, use his jiu-jitsu, maybe get to his back, maybe choke him out. We'll see, though. If that doesn't happen, William Gomez is picking him apart on the feet for 3 rounds or until Robert falls. Next up, we got Patricio Pitbull versus Losane Chieta. Now, Losane Chieta is a very, very promising prospect, a very good sign. I don't think they should have put him against Patricio Pitbull Silva because I think Patricio is very good and he's good enough to beat this guy in his debut. I don't think it's smart. Like, it's kind of the same thing putting Patricio against a number 5 guy, but the thing is, Patricio was a 2-time Bellator champion who beat Michael Chandler, so it's like, yeah, fuck it, put him up against anybody in the UFC, but at the same time, it's like, man, for Losane Chieta, it's like, dude, this is a really big step up. You're debuting on, the first fight of the main card, and you're fighting against Patricio Pitbull, a former Bellator champion in the time where the Bellator lightweight and featherweight divisions were just insane. So it's going to be a really big step up. Losane Chieta is wild on the feet. He throws caution to no win. He's very technical in terms of the combo, like the target decisions he makes. He changes the target. He's not just throwing crazy bombs like wild like that, but he does throw wild stuff. But he's like real technical with like hook to the head, right hand in the body, dips, moves 1, 2. But he's like he does get crazy, and he has good timing with knees and shit. If Patricio wins, it's by taking him down, controlling him on the ground, and finding a submission, because I have seen Losane Chieta get put in some pretty bad spots on the ground, but his athleticism and due to the fact that the other guy that he's fighting probably isn't that great on the ground either, he gets out. But Patricio is very, very good on the ground. We watched him beat Danny Gay, and now he's fighting a guy in his debut, which is crazy. And he pretty much pieced up Danny Gay, put him on his back, controlled him everywhere on the ground. So I think I'm going to go Patricio Pitbull, but don't be surprised if Losane Chieta gets a knockout win. But I could see Losane Chieta gassing out through 3 rounds. But, I mean, at the same time, it's like he's fought in 3 rounds before, and he doesn't really gas too much, but he's just so explosive that I don't see him. And Patricio's so, like, patient where he could, like, blow his wad on Patricio, and Patricio uses his grappling to get him to the ground, control him, get him in a submission, or just gas him out from, being on the ground. Patricio doesn't really get too tired in fights. He doesn't really do much, but he's still really good. He's still really, really good. So I think I'm going to go Patricio Pitbull on this one. But I will say, Chieta has a lot of promise. He's going to be really good, especially I could see him beating Patricio, knocking him out. I'm just going to say that. Next up, we got Fares Ziam and Kyle Fernandez. This is going to be a very, very good fight. Fares Ziam has all the tools in the box. He's got striking. He's got wrestling. Kyle Fernandez has knockout ability and fucking hurt you striking. And he circles to the right a lot. In some of the fights I've seen, he likes to circle towards the power side. So if Fares can avoid his right hand and put, that side of the power on Kyle Fernandez, with low kicks, body kicks, head kicks, and the right hand, he's going to do a very wonderful job. And then I would just say use your MMA. Take him down, put him against the cage, use your MMA, put him on his back, get the striker gassed, make him heavy in there. I think Fares Ziam has more ability to win this fight. He has more tools. He just lost to a really good Benoit Saint Denis, right? I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. I thought he lost to a really good guy recently. I'm tripping. Who the fuck just fought Benoit Saint Denis and lost? I don't know. But he beat Mike Davis, who's really good. Knocked out Frivola, who's really good. He's at the time he was really good. Beat Puelles in a split decision. Then he beats Herbert, who's actually really good. Yeah, I think I'm going Ziam off of just the record itself. He did lose to McKinney via submission, but that was way early on in the career. Kyle Fernandez, he be knocking people out and he be fucking piecing them up on the feet. Like, Kutaladze. You guys know I'm not good with these names, but he pieced them the fuck up for 3 rounds. You know what I mean? And then he beat the shit out of Ronnie Yaya, which was just like, I made money off that fight because I knew Ronnie Yaya was old. But then, you know, he fights few and far between. You know, he's not super active, so it's kind of like hard to tell what next kind of Cal Fernandez is coming into the octagon. But I think Ferris has a very good chance at beating him just because I think he has more tools. We haven't seen a whole lot from Fernandez, but he's good and he could win by knockout. Don't get me wrong, but I think Ferris is a little bit too tall, a little too lanky. I know he's not going to have like a super crazy height advantage. He only has like an inch, but he has a reach advantage, so he could keep him on the outside. And then when he wants to, you know, put him up against the cage, he'll do better leaning him against the cage, making him hold his weight, and stuff like that. Next up, we got Modestas Bukauskas and Paul Craig. I'm going Modestas all day. He's got way better striking than Paul Craig. He can knock out Paul Craig as long as he doesn't do no spinny, dumb heel kick that, you know, put Paul Craig on his back or some shit like that. I think Modestas Bukauskas controls the fight everywhere. Probably wins by knockout, if not a decision. Paul Craig does not have great striking. He's like one of those jiu-jitsu guys, man. Like the typical jiu-jitsu guy who's only good on the ground. And it's like he doesn't ever wrestle. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't push the pace. He doesn't try to take you down. And he has kind of shitty striking. So I'm going Modestas Bukauskas by knockout. Or maybe decision. Next up, we got Bolaji Oki and Mason Jones. And this is one of the fights I have a problem with being on the main card. Bolaji Oki just got, in his last fight, I believe, got guillotined by Chris Duncan. Not his last fight, okay? He beat Aswell in his last fight by decision, which isn't that great of a, you know, victory. And then he lost to Kwamba. But he got submitted by Duncan. He got put in a guillotine, got out of the guillotine, and passed out. That's how deep and how long he was in that guillotine. He got out of the guillotine and still got knocked out. And so Chris Duncan ended up winning the fight. I don't think he's that great on the feet. I don't think he's that great on the ground, right? He's kind of like Kita, but like a little bit of a shittier version of Kita. And Mason Jones has very good technical boxing. He's not the flashiest striker of all time, but he really fights behind his jab. He has a really good left hook to the body, really good right hand. He's got really good boxing fundamentals. So I think is what's gonna carry him through this fight by putting the pace with the boxing pace. A lot of punches. He doesn't throw hard, but he throws a lot of punches and pretty much just breaks you down with his boxing. But he's short. He has, you know, doesn't have the longest reach of all time. You know, he actually has a longer reach than Balaji. So maybe just the optics look a little bit different for me when I'm watching him fight. He looks a little smaller. But, yeah, same height, and he has a reach advantage. Yeah, I'm going for sure Mason Jones all day with this one. Balaji has not shown me anything that's super impressive. He's really sloppy on the feet, really sloppy on the ground. He's like I said, he's like a worse version of Kita. But we'll see, man. We will see. I'm going Mason Jones probably by decision or late TKO. Next up, we got Benoit Saint Denis and Mauricio Ruffi. This should be a field day for Ruffi on the feet, 100%. We haven't really seen, we know the guys at Fighting Nerds are great on the ground, but we haven't seen anything from Mauricio Ruffi on the ground, obviously, because he just knocks everybody out. But he did have a decision win against Lontop. I don't remember that. But he knocked out Malarkey, beat Lontop, probably beat the shit out of him for 3 rounds, then he knocked out Green with a crazy spinning back kick. But who's not knocking out Green nowadays, you know what I mean? But Benoit Saint Denis is a big step up for him because Benoit Saint Denis has fought the who's who of the lightweight division. He's been in there for a long time. He's fought really good guys. If Benoit can pressure Mauricio and close that gap without getting hurt within closing that gap and then getting him against the cage, taking him down and controlling him, but you have to have superb master control, kind of like, you know, a Khabib-style wrestling for 3 rounds. That's how you beat Mauricio Ruffi. You're not really going to outstrike him if you're Benoit Saint Denis. The only guy in the lightweight division really outstriking this guy is probably Ilia Topuria. And I don't really see too many people after that outstriking Mauricio Ruffi. This dude is fucking slick on the feet. Really good boxing, really good head movement, really good kicks. Hopefully he doesn't do any spinny shit that puts him in a bad spot. But even if he does, I think he has the ability to survive and get out of it. Yeah, I'm going Mauricio Rufy. I think he's just better everywhere. Maybe not on his back if Benoit's having really good offense with the grappling, but Benoit Saint Denis, I don't think he could keep that pace up for 3 rounds. So I'm going Mauricio Rufy by TKO or decision 30-27. And last one, main event, Nasruddin Imavov and Kyle Borralho. Imavov, in my opinion, has fucking beautiful striking, beautiful 1-2, beautiful right hand. Strickland did whoop his ass for 5 rounds. I do remember that a couple years ago, but that was 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Over 2 years ago. What's it called? Dolidze, he beat the shit out of Dolidze, right? He knocked out Cannonier. He beat the shit out of Allen, and then he knocked out Izzy in the second round. After having like a pretty close first round, Izzy was looking pretty decent, then just gets caught because he just switches stances right in front of Imavov. I think Imavov is fucking really good everywhere. I think he's got better striking than Borralho, and I think Borralho's last fight against Jared Cannonier did not impress me at all. He didn't look like the world beater like the other fight nerds look like, right? And, you know, styles make fights, but I mean, Imavov cleaned up Cannonier, you know what I mean? And Borralho fucking took him to a 5 rounds, and then like he pretty much starches everybody besides Cannonier, right? But like he's won unanimous decision. He won by a submission, unanimous decision. Knocked out Paul Craig. So he kind of like he finishes, but it's far and few in between, right? Like he wins a lot by decision. I don't think he's going to beat Imavov by decision, man. I think Imavov is just too clean on the feet. I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to being able to take him down. Maybe later on in the fight, but Imavov is, you know, he's fought 5 rounds before. Kyle Borralho, you know, man, it's just hard to say that Kyle Borralho is going to beat him after watching the Cannonier fight. You're only as good as your last fight. Imavov knocked out one of the best middleweight champions of all time. Kyle Borralho left with a bad cut underneath his eye against Jared Cannonier, right? And we just seen MVP piece up Cannonier for fucking 3 rounds. So it's kind of like, give MVP the title shot or give one of these guys a title shot. Give one of these guys, because everyone's saying that Hernandez deserves the next title shot against Khamzat. This is ranked number 1 versus ranked number 7. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't these guys be getting the next title shot? I don't understand that. Ranked number 2, okay, against ranked number 7. How are these guys not getting the next title shot? I don't understand. This, like, the winner of this fight should get the title shot. Hernandez should fight either one more fight or fight one of these guys for the title shot if they even want to do that. Or it's just like, make Hernandez fight MVP, derail MVP, because we know Hernandez will just take him down over and over again if he doesn't get caught with the 1-2. And yeah, but yeah, I think Imavov, and like, that would do really good for Hernandez if he just went in there and goes, okay, MVP is just going to come into the middleweight division and beat one of the top guys and think that, you know, I'm going to make easy work of this guy and be like, see, he doesn't belong here, give me the champ, you know? Because these guys, I for sure believe whoever wins this fight deserves the title shot. I think Hernandez is deserving of a title shot, but not after beating Dolidze. I think, you know, Dolidze is ranked, 11 or 12? These guys are 2-7. If the number 2 guy wins, give him the title shot. But yeah, anyway, I think Imavov's going to win, probably by knockout or, you know, decision. Dude, his right hand is so fucking clean, and he knows how to land it. He knows how to find it. So I'm going Imavov. But yeah, those are my picks. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. I will be seeing you guys soon. We'll be talking on Sunday, talking about these fights, maybe Saturday night. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, peace out, everybody. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Deuces.